Powerlifting at this point in my life means so much and so much more than I ever thought that it could.
It's really cool. We interact really well, and there's a lot of love.
Especially as a woman, you feel very capable and strong. The years before this was, a male-dominant sport. Females have come into the sport and, we're showing that we can be really strong and capable too. So that's a really good feeling.
It's not only something that I love to do as a sport, but it's so many friends, I've seen so many things, and I've had so many opportunities that I never ever dreamed I could have.
It's really cool to come to people from France or Italy or Germany or Japan, and we all have this commonality of wanting to be strong and better powerlifters, and it kind of brings us together.
Everything has to match, especially we, as physios or as coaches, we try to maximize what the athletes can perform in this time frame, and we try to give our best.
So they can do their best.
It's really cool that now I have friends in a community across the world opposed to just like within my city. And like we get along great. I message them all the time on like Instagram or whatever the case may be, just like check in. The silver lining to it all, it teaches you to continue to work. It teaches you that there's still stuff to be done. It pushes you to be better, to do more. Sometimes if you're at the top, you can get complacent. And that's a wrap. Let's go see the competition.
Hello and welcome back to San Jose, Costa Rica. We are here for the junior 66 kilo category this evening. I am Erasmus Ivans, joined here by Brian Lynch. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm really excited for this session. How are you?
Hey, it's been a long day so far, but this session is looking super exciting. We're going to be starting off with the B group and then moving on directly to the A group right after. So I'm giving the B group to you.
Awesome. Our first lifter out will be Craven Yao Yi Kiat from Singapore with 175 kilos on the bar. He'll be followed by one of our Costa Rican lifters, Singapore again, and then Australia. And the bar is loaded for Craven.
That is a comfortable looking opening attempt.
Yeah, looks very smooth, and he gets the 3 white lights, which is all you can ask for an opener. You want the openers to be something you can do pretty comfortably and then get numbers on the board and start building your total from there. The next lifter out will be Cesar Brenes from Costa Rica, 185 kilos on the bar.
We can definitely hear the Costa Rican support. Lifting in front of the home crowd is definitely something special.
Definitely, and all these Costa Rican and Central American lifters who have lifted in the championship so far have had loads of support, which is really cool for them. It moved quickly, but we'll need to see what the refs say. And yeah, I was a little bit concerned on depth watching that, so he might need to come back and sync that on his second. The jury seems to agree with what the refs have put up there.
Yeah, we'll see on the replay. I think he's just above the limit. couple centimeters lower and he should be okay. And the weight looked comfortable enough so that he can take it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Our next lifter out will be Max Soyuji from Singapore, taking 195 kilos. First squat nerves are a big thing though, so I wonder if our Costa Rican lifter perhaps just cut himself a little bit short because of the nerves. We'll have to see in a second.
Three white lights, and that is another comfortable looking opening attempt, just as you want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Our next lifter out will be Ethan Lim from Australia with 195 kilos.
That is three white lights, a good lift for Ethan. An interesting thing to point out, I think he's using a smaller belt than most of the lifters.
Yeah.
Of course, there is a maximum width specified in the technical rules. There is no minimum width, so sometimes smaller lifters choose to wear smaller belts just because they have a shorter torso.
Yeah, it's possibly more comfortable for Ethan than wearing one of the big, thick SBD belts. Out now we have David Thomas from Great Britain with 202.5 kilos on the bar. And he is stopping to tie his shoe, which is unusual choice of time use.
Also not something you are legally allowed to do on the platform, but he seems to get away with it. I think he would just get a warning.
Yeah, usually you're meant to only be able to adjust your belt on the platform.
Three white lights.
No.
Yeah.
Out now we have Jorge Aguilar from Mexico with 207.5 kilos on the bar. His squat PB is listed at 235 and he'd have to be taking pretty significant jumps to be in PB territory today.
Another one of the Mexicans that was nominated in the good lift system with 25, 25, 25, as they had not achieved a result in the past year that would qualify.
A smooth opener there, three white lights, can't ask for more than that. Our next lifter out is Keita Nimamoto from Japan with 210 kilos on the bar. Keita just being slowed down there by the TC as he adjusts all of his equipment.
And another fairly comfortable opening attempt. We want the first round of attempts in every lift to be fairly uneventful, as it usually means that there's going to be great progress and great battling in the second and third round.
Yeah, and it just makes it slightly more comfortable for those lifters knowing that they do have a score on the board. Out now we have Carlos Alberto Duran Sanchez from Costa Rica on the home crowd again, attempting 210 kilos for his opening attempt.
Three white lights, and that moved fairly fast for an opening attempt, 10 kilos above his state personal best.
Yeah, maybe it's the fact that he is on home soil. He's got that extra boost from all of his family and friends here watching.
And I believe we've seen him already in the equipped portion of the championships.
Our next lifter out is Kinhei William Lee from Hong Kong. He has 215 kilos on the bar. I think there have been a few lifters who have lifted both equipped and classic.
Quite a few, basically grabbing the opportunity since they're here. Why not compete in both championships?
Absolutely. It does make it pretty rough on them though, putting their bodies through so much stress within a few days of each other.
Three white lights, and our last opener of the group. Another comfortable one. So we have everyone on the board but Brenes.
Yeah, we'll be going back to the start of the flight now for the second attempts. Craven from Singapore will be coming out with 185 kilos on the bar, a nice 10 kilo jump from his opener.
Three white lights and a comfortable second attempt. I think I can see him taking another 10 kilos there.
Yeah, that 10 kilo jump was pretty smooth, and you're right, he definitely still has gas in the tank for his next attempt. Out now is Cesar Brenes from Costa Rica. Brenes did not quite make his first attempt, so he will have to be sinking this a little bit deeper. The Costa Rican softsuit singlet has colours on it that make it really easy to see for the side referees to see depth. So if he is cutting it high, it's going to be more noticeable than if he was wearing a black singlet.
And I think he sinks it deeper this time. It's a 2-to-1 good lift. Still a red from the left side referee. We're going to see from their perspective.
I do think it looks slightly deeper, and the jury table do seem to be quite happy with that as well. So he is on the board, and that's everyone on the board so far. Now we have Max Saw Yu from Singapore, 205 kilos. He has also elected to take a 10 kilo jump up from his first attempt.
Oh, and just gets stuck at the sticking point. That is going to be a no lift, unfortunately, for Max.
Yeah, that's pretty rough for a second attempt, but he does have the option of coming back to take that for his third.
I don't see a major technical error there. Just looks like a lack of strength, unfortunately.
Well, hopefully he finds the strength back in the waiting area before he comes out for his third. We now have Ethan Lim from Australia coming out to take his second attempt. 207.5 kilos on the bar, which is a 12.5 kilo jump from his opener.
And for a 12.5 kilo jump, that seemed to move fairly well. His personal best stands at 215 kilos. That might be a bit of a stretch today, we'll see.
Yeah, that looked pretty comfortable for a second, but he'd be having to take a pretty big jump to get into that PB territory. We now have David Thomas from Great Britain coming out to take 212.5 kilos, a 10 kilo jump on his opener, and his shoes are tied this time, so he has the whole minute to get set up under the bar.
That is significantly heavier than the opening attempt. 3 white lights though.
Yeah, it looked to move quite smoothly there. So I wonder what kind of jump they'll take for his third attempt.
It really depends on how much he knows he can grind through a squat. Some lifters have a very quick cutoff. Some can really push through.
We now have Jorge Aguilar from Mexico, 212.5 kilos on the bar. Just a 5 kilo jump up from his opener. Mexico has sent quite a large team to this championships.
That is 3 white lights, and so fast we practically missed it almost.
Yeah, I blinked and I did miss it. But he got 3 white lights and he's got a second spot on the board. That is a good second attempt, watching that on the replay. Now we're having Carlos Alberto Duran Sanchez from Costa Rica, 217.5 kilos on the bar, a 7.5 kilo jump up from his opener.
And this one does not go up, unfortunately. The first one was a reasonable first attempt. Maybe a really quick cutoff or some sort of technical error. We'll see on the replay. What do you reckon?
I'm not 100% sure because his first moved really well and it was only a 7.5 kilo jump, which at this kind of weight, it's not a huge jump. I do wonder if maybe he wasn't confident to grind through it. Maybe he can come back for his third and get it now that he's felt the weight on his back. We now have Keita Nimoto from Japan with 222.5 kilos on the bar, a 12.5 kilo jump up from his opening attempt.
A reasonable second attempt. Had to put a little muscle into it, but it's 3 white lights.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they take as big a jump for his third. I'm not 100% sure that would be the right decision to make.
I think 12.5 kilos there would be ambitious, but somewhere in the range of 7.5 could be very much doable.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we have Kinhei William Lee from Hong Kong. He's coming out for 227.5 kilos. Kinhei William is our last second attempt before we move on to third attempts in this B flight, remembering that there is the whole A flight of 66 juniors to come, who are the lifters with the higher nominated totals.
Well, that is quite hard work for a second attempt. 3 white lights though. We'll see how much more is there.
Yeah, it did slow down quite a lot, but there wasn't a huge amount of form breakdown. I wonder what kind of jump they'll take. I feel like 5 kilos would probably not be unreasonable there.
I would agree. He holds the form fairly well despite a significantly higher effort.
Now we've got Craven Yao Yi Kiat from Singapore with 190 kilos on the bar for his third attempt. His squats have looked pretty decent so far, and this is only a 5 kilo jump up from his second attempt, which is probably a pretty good choice from the Team Singapore coaching staff.
It seems slow but well controlled. It's 3 white lights and a 3-4-3 in the squats.
Yeah, I don't think there was any question there about it stopping. It did slow down, but he held the line and he pushed through it. Cesar Brenes from Costa Rica will be coming out to take 200 kilos. He did fail his first attempt there on depth, and he's taken a 15 kilo jump up, so it'll be interesting to see whether he maintains that good depth from his second attempt.
Yeah, the 185 for a second time where he got it was heavier. So a 15 kilo jump seems quite optimistic, but if he knows he has it in him.
185 was listed as his squat PB, so if he does make this, that'll be a huge jump on his PB today. And unfortunately that 15 kilos is just too much today for our Costa Rican lifter.
Yeah, I can't help but think that was way too optimistic of a jump there by Team Costa Rica. Of course, he's not in any sort of fight for a title or a podium, so might as well try.
Absolutely, we're better to make some personal bests than the world stage in front of your friends and family. But he can come out and do the same for bench and deadlift and still walk away feeling proud of his day. We now have Max Saw UG from Singapore, 205 kilos on the bar. He is retaking this from his second attempt.
It's an absolute battle. Okay, 3 white lights, it's a good lift. We said it looked like a strength issue, failing on second attempt. Just managed to push through this time.
Yeah, he had the faith to grind through it rather than stopping when it slowed down, which was nice to see. I'm glad he got another squat up there on the board. Next up we'll have Ethan Lim from Australia coming out to take 215 kilos. A 7.5 kilo jump up from his second attempt.
This matches his personal best on the world stage. it's quite a grinder.
Yeah, I think that was probably a pretty good pick from the Australian coaching staff. I'm not sure 2.5 kilos more would have moved like that did.
Yeah, very much on the limit. So excellent third attempt selection there.
We'll now have Jorge Aguilar from Mexico with 217.5 kilos on the bar, just a 5 kilo jump up from his second attempt.
He's an absolute fighter, but unfortunately not there today. 5 kilo jump seeming to be proving to be too much for the Mexican.
Bar is loaded now for Carlos Alberto Duran Sanchez from Costa Rica with 217.5 kilos on the bar. He is retaking his second attempt at the same weight.
What a fight in front of the home crowd. There's 3 white lights for the Costa Rican, and he can be really proud of himself for that.
Absolutely, and it sounds like the crowd is proud of him as well. Oh, what an absolute grind through that. That was definitely RPE 10.
Absolutely, you cannot get any more max lift than that.
We now have David Thomas from Great Britain with 220 kilos on the bar. This will be 5 kilos above his personal best should he manage to achieve this.
There's 3 white lights, a great third attempt there from the Brit.
Yeah, you can be pleased with that for sure. We only have 2 more lifters in this flight of squats before we move on to the A group in the 66 juniors. Keita Nimoto from Japan will be coming out to take 232.5 kilos. A nice 10 kilo jump up from his second attempt.
10 kilos seems a bit ambitious, but if he knows he's got the fight in him.
Absolutely, and I'd love to see him grind through it and get those numbers on the board and start collecting those kilos.
He gives it a really good go, but unfortunately the 10 kilo jumps seem proving to be too ambitious.
We just have one lifter left in this flight of 66 kilo juniors, and that is Kin Hae William Lee from Hong Kong with 232.5 kilos on the bar. That is only a 5 kilo jump up from his second attempt, which I think is a very reasonable attempt selection.
And it just proves to be too much.
Yeah, not today for our lifter from Hong Kong, but he can come back and get that another day. These lifters are still really young and really early on in their careers.
Absolutely, plenty of years to grow and improve. And that wraps up the B group for the 66s. We're going to be moving straight into the A group. Of course, currently Lee leading the squats, but within the entire A group to come, I am sure there's going to be some far bigger numbers moved.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see that when we see the opening attempts brought out for the second flight here.
And we'll be starting off the A group with Nadir Touahir opening at 160 kilos.
I think he should get extra white lights for that outfit.
That is a super easy opening attempt, but it is 50 kilos off his personal best, so I'm thinking either an injury or some other external factor here.
Yeah, maybe a really conservative first attempt just to build confidence. Like, it was easy, but was it an extra 50 kilos easy, you know?
I don't think it was an extra 50 kilos, but we'll see, of course. Rashawn Superville opening at 207.5. I believe the first lifter we've had from Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't seen that flag up in this championships yet.
And that is 3 white lights, a good lift for Superville. Next up we have 210 kilos loaded on the bar for Shivam Kanaugia of India.
This is 20 kilos under his listed PB, so he may look to be reaching that today with some good jumps, but also he may not, depending how this first one moves.
And that is a very comfortable first attempt.
Yeah, 3 white lights there for him, so he's on the board.
Definitely not the first Indian lifter we've seen in these championships, but I think the first time seeing the SBD India singlet.
Oh, we had an SBD India singlet yesterday, and he had paired it with the, is it the Reflect kit? That's the blue one. And the forged knee sleeves, and it looked spot on because it had that blue and that orange, and it was really, really nice.
John Ballesteros, 220 kilos on the bar for the Canadian.
I do like seeing the new kits come out as more and more countries are getting help from SBD to kit out their lifters.
And that is a 2-to-1 good lift, a red light from right side referee. We're seeing the replay from the left side, so that's the side where he gets the white from. That will be for depth. I think he should be all right there.
Yeah, from the left it looked a little bit deeper than I would have said from real lifetime, but we are sitting on the right hand side, which is the side he did get a red light for. But that's why we have 3 referees and 3 jury members.
Absolutely. 225 kilos on the bar for Nikolai Austin. His personal best standing at 258, which is above the current world junior record. That moves very comfortably, but do you think it moves comfortably enough for another 33 kilos on that?
I don't know, the proof will be in his second and third attempts, but that did look very smooth for an opener.
$225 staying on the bar for Ryuichiro Kubota of Japan. 4 opening attempts remaining in the A group. That is not a very fast opening attempt. It's 3 white lights.
He is on the board and can't be too upset about that.
Christian Ambris of Mexico next, 227.5 on the bar. Opening fairly close to his personal best.
It's 3 white lights and it's a good lift.
2 more winners to go. USA and Denmark. Julio Gonzalez and Theodor Kongstad. Power loaded.
2 attempts remaining. First one will be 230 kilos for Evelio Gonzalez, United States of America. Another lifter with a personal best over the current world junior record. But of course, he'll have to hit it on the world stage if he wants to break that record. Let's see how the first one moves.
It was very, very quick indeed.
A death throw from the right side referee though is going to want to be careful, but I definitely see a reasonable chance of him reaching for the record.
And it looks all right on the replay, which of course is the side that the jury is on and the side that you at home can see as well.
Our final squat opening attempt, Theodor Kongstad of Denmark. That's very deep.
It was very deep and it was very fast as well.
Yeah, that is a great opening attempt, but with that speed, if something goes wrong, if he loses control, it can be somewhat dangerous.
Yeah, of course, you can lose position really quickly there. So maybe when he gets a little bit heavier, he might control it more. We can wait and see.
So after our opening round of squats, we have Kongstad in the lead. from Gonzalez, and Lee from B group still in third, but of course subject to change after 2 more rounds.
Yeah, no, the whole A flight is on the board, which means they can continue confidently, adding kilos to their total, and of course vying for squat medals.
Absolutely, and the first lifter out in the second round is Nadir Touahir, taking a 20 kilo jump to 180.
That is a reasonable sized jump. Doesn't seem to be any problem for Nadir though.
Yeah, 3 white lights. He's still super comfortable.
Power loaded.
217.5 kilos for Rishon Superville.
It does seem quite slow for a second attempt.
Yeah, definitely harder than the first one. I don't see a big jump coming there, but a couple kilos might still be in the tank.
Yeah, and he didn't leave too much room there for depth either. He's probably right on the line.
Power loaded.
225 kilos for Shivam Kanaugia. That is 3 white lights, a good lift for the Indian.
30 kilos for John Ballesteros, Canada. 10 kilo jump. Luciano Kubota, Japan. Get ready. The bar is loaded.
230 kilos on the bar for John Ballesteros.
Not too far off his listed squat PB of 235 kilos.
That seems like a reasonable second attempt. A depth score from the right side.
Yeah, which is the side that we're sitting on, and we'll see the opposite side now on the replay, which I think looks better on this side here that you can see now. Maybe he is just one of those slightly lopsided lifters.
Definitely might be. Ryuichiro Kubota, 235 on the bar now for him. This will already be a 5 kilo personal best. And looking at the nominations, he seemed to be way off the leading pair, the Americans. But looking at the prognosis here, he seems to be right up there with them. Possibly even slightly ahead. So we'll see how the fight for the title in the 66 juniors develops.
Of course, there's lots of room for movement with the bench and deadlifts still to come.
That is a fairly heavy second attempt.
Yeah, definitely slowed down a fair bit in the middle there. I'm not sure whether he's going to be taking another 10 kilo jump.
Mexico, 237.5. Julio Gonzalez, get ready.
Oh, 10 kilos onto this will definitely be ambitious, but maybe he knows he's got it in him. 237.5 on the bar for Cristian Ambriz of Mexico. He gets to the middle, gets just a little bit stuck, but he nods his head. He knows he's got it.
Yeah, it's that confidence when lifters know they're going to be able to push through and lock it out.
Also USA.
That's why it's important to do heavy training, heavy singles in your training. So you know that you can push through on competition day. 245 kilos, now a 15 kilo jump for Evelio Gonzalez. And with this kind of jump, the record is definitely within reach, not just for him, but for the two lifters following. Of course, the second attempt needs to go well. Seems to go really well. Let's just wait for the lights. It's a 2-to-1 good lift. I believe the same red light as on his first one there, so...
Again, it's the opposite side light to the replay that you can see on your screen now.
And I think he should be just inside there.
Yeah, the jury seems to be approving that call there with the two white lights.
245 for the other United States lifter, Nikolai Austin, trying to battle it out with his teammate for the squat gold and the record. That is another fairly strong looking second attempt. He hits the hole quite hard, but it doesn't seem to be any trouble standing back up. And Gonzalez has not gone for the record, so we'll see if Nikolai does. And we have one last second attempt. Theodor Kongstad, 250 kilos, 17.5 kilo jump.
Yeah, he's definitely looking to get close to that record as he possibly can. So we'll see how his second attempt moves and see if that record is going to be in danger.
Well, none of the Americans has decided to go for it. So this is our last chance to make the record a possibility today.
We've already seen so many records broken this championship, so it would be nice to see that trend continue.
Oh, and that is really hard. It's 3 white lights, but with how that moved, I don't see the record falling today. Maybe it was a technical error that we'll see on the replay. As I warned you at the start that with a really fast squatting technique, you can really quickly either lose tension, get out of position, or both. And it seems that I was right.
Yeah, he definitely dives into the hole, leaving him not much time to maintain tightness on the ascent. So hopefully, I would like to see him have a crack at the record, but he's going to need to slow things down a little bit.
And we are starting off round 3. 200 kilos for Nadir Touahir. That is still moving very reasonably. Courtois here. The personal best might well have been in reach today.
Yeah, absolutely. He did take, took a 40 kilo spread over his 3 squats, but I mean, given he is coached by one of the IPF Executive Committee, Piotr van der Hoek, I wouldn't expect anything less.
Absolutely. And it seems I have misread the attempts previously. There are going to be 2 attempts at the record. One is going to be Nikolai and the other will be Kongstad. We'll see what happens. I'm definitely looking forward to it. This is Reshon Superville taking the minimal 2.5 kilo jump.
I think just with lot number there, Kongstad will be attempting that first, leaving Nikolai to have to wait and see whether he's going to have to go up or whether he can have a crack at it just as it is.
And it's an absolute fight. Superville and a super grind there. 3 white lights and a good lift. And that 2.5 kilo jump was definitely the right decision here. And yeah, as you said, Kongstad will have the first crack at the record, and if he gets it, Austin's attempt automatically moves up by 0.5 kilo.
Yeah.
So we might see it broken twice.
That would be a pretty fun end to this session of squats.
235 kilos on the bar for Shivam Kanaugia.
He has taken a 10 kilo jump on his 225 kilo second attempt. Did use almost the full minute to get there under the bar.
And I think he just lost tension there.
Spotter's helping him back in the rack.
We'll see on the replay here, he goes fairly deep. And I think he loses tension, the body just shifts a bit, and he's out of position to grind it out, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's hard to regain position when you've got that much weight on your back and you're off your center of gravity.
237.5 awaits on the bar for John Ballesteros.
Bar loaded.
This will be a 2.5 kilo squat PB should John be successful with this.
That is 3 white lights and a great third attempt there.
240 kilos for Yuichiro Kubota, Japan. 5 kilo jump for that same amount of a personal best. Feliciano Andres, Mexico, get ready. Bar loaded.
And the bar is loaded for Yuichiro Kubota. Definitely one of the contenders for the overall title. But a big improvement from his nominated total coming into this competition. And the 5 kilos more seem to be too much for the Japanese lifter.
47.5 from Mexico, Cristian Andres. And Julio Gonzalez, 255.
$247.5, another 10 kilo jump for Christian Ambris. Judging from the second attempt, this seems to be in reach. It's going to be right on the limit, I think. This puts him into squat silver for the time being. But of course, our top 3 squatters will be able to push him down if they are successful.
Yeah, he does seem to have a big wave of support here from Team Mexico, so hoping that helps him eke out that extra 10 kilos.
And it's an absolute grinder. He's up. Let's wait for the lights. And that is 3 white lights. He's into the squat podium positions.
Yeah, 3 whites. Can't argue with that, especially for a third attempt and especially with the support he's receiving from the crowd here.
Currently in silver, but there are 2 lifters who can displace him off the podium. And first of those is coming onto the platform now. Evelio Gonzalez, 255 kilos. Just fixing the weight on the bar there. 255 kilos. Should be 4 reds, a yellow, and the calibrated calipers. And there he's opting not to have a shot at the record.
Yeah, just 2.5 kilos underneath what it currently sits at and 3 kilos underneath what our next 2 lifters are going to attempt to push it to.
Of course, might prove to be a smart decision. If he went for it and missed, he'd be losing a lot of kilos.
Yeah, he's obviously thinking about the bigger picture here.
And that seems to be absolutely the right call here for Gonzalez. 3 white lights, he secures the 255. He's in provisional squad gold with 2 lifters following who can displace him from that. But that seemed to be right about on the limit there. And every kilo will count here in the battle for the title.
So I'm just letting you know.
And we have just been informed by the coach of Denmark that Theodor Kongstad will not be coming out for the record. We will just let the minute run out. He did seem to be right on the limit with the second attempt, so perhaps a reasonable choice. So the 258 will wait on the bar for the American. And we can take this minute to thank our sponsors. Eleiko providing us with the best competition equipment. You can see their plates, their rack, their bar on the platform. SBD providing us with the competition gear for the athletes, for the spotters, for the support crew. And Visit Malta providing us a venue for many a championship.
Silver with 250 Kongstad from Denmark and gold USA Gonzalez. All subject to change should Austin Nikolai manage the world junior record.
We're just reaching the end of Theodore's minute now. That minute gives the spotters and loaders time to breathe and time for his competitor to get ready to attempt this record as well.
Absolutely, and there he comes. I hope he's coming out. Austin Nikolai, United States of America, going for 258 kilos for a new World Junior squat record.
World Junior record attempt.
This will move him from current 4th position in squats straight into gold. So this is all or nothing in the squats for Austin. 258 kilos. Almost 4 times his body weight. And there he goes. We're gonna wait for the lights here, and it's 3 white ones. You have a new World Junior Squat record. We have a new World Junior Squat record. He takes the gold medal position, and what a finish to the flight. Nikolai, of course, with the new record, taking the squat gold. Gonzalez in silver, and Kongstad with 250, choosing not to come out for his third attempt in bronze. We will see you back in about 9 minutes time for the bench press. Hello and welcome back to Costa Rica. We are here for the bench press in the junior 66 kilo category showdown, and we're starting with the B group, of course, but two very large openers here, 150 and 155 kilos for the opening attempts. Just looking at the nominations here, I think we're about to see, at least we get a chance to see some B group medals, which of course are my favorite thing in the world of powerlifting. And I give you over to Briar.
Thank you. We are starting off with Carlos Alberto Duran Sanchez from Costa Rica. He is opening with 112.5 kilos on the bar, and the Costa Rican powerlifting fans are out in force here in the audience, of course on his home soil.
Strong off the chest, 3 white lights, and he's on the board with a bench press.
Yeah, absolutely. Now he can confidently go about collecting kilos for the rest of this event. The next lifter out will be Craven Yao Yi Kiat from Singapore with 115 kilos on the bar.
Already?
Craven's bench press PB is listed at 120 kilos, so if this moves smoothly, he can look to be collecting more PBs today.
Three white lights, and we hear an air horn from the crowd. We can't quite see it.
There's been all sorts of fun instruments in here so far. There's been a spinning wooden thing, a kazoo, the air horn.
The spinning wooden thing, I don't know the English name for that, but in Slovenian it's ragla.
I don't know the English name for it either, and English is my first language. We have another Costa Rican lifter now, Cesar Brenes, with 115 kilos.
Pretty shaky under the bar, but the attempt itself is fairly comfortable.
Yeah, looks good for an opener, and he's on the board. Thumbs up to the crowd. Our next lifter out will be Ethan Lim from Australia with 120 kilos on the bar. His bench press PB is 133, which makes me think it is an Australian junior record, as usually you have 2.5 kilo jumps with the exception of records.
And the 120 seems to move fairly comfortably.
Yeah, 3 white lights, and he's on the board as well. Again, just like squat, we like to see a reasonably uneventful first round, making sure all the lifters are comfortably getting their openers. We now have Kinhei William Lee from Hong Kong with 125 kilos on the bar. 125 is one of those milestone lifts for a lot of new lifters. Nice 2 red plates and the collars.
Yeah, and the 2 red plates, very reasonable milestone. The 3, you really get the selection.
Anything with red plates is impressive, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And it's 3 white lights for Lee. 4 opening attempts remaining here. And the last two are gonna be quite a sight to see. Let's hope they go well.
We now have Keita Nimoto from Japan with 130 kilos on the bar for his opener. It's 15 kilos under his listed bench press PB, so he may be looking to extend that with some decent sized jumps, but we will have to see how this opener moves before we can make any solid predictions.
That is 3 white lights for Nemoto.
Yeah, so far all lifters on the board. We love seeing lots of green on the scoreboard we've got in front of us here. Touch wood, I don't want to jinx anyone. I've been told the commentator's curse is actually not a real thing. We have now Jorge Aguila from Mexico with 135 kilos on the bar. Yeah, unfortunately he didn't wait for a press command there from the centre referee, and the commentator's curse does seem to be real.
You never should have said it wasn't the real thing.
Whoops.
Rookie commentator mistake. I've done my share of those.
I'm getting head shakes from all angles of the IPF media team. At least it was a technical mistake and nothing major. He just needs to listen for that press command, which, if you don't train with a press command, can be quite difficult. We now have David Thomas from Great Britain with 150 kilos on the bar, a significant leap ahead of his previous competitors. Looks pretty smooth.
3 white lights, definitely looking good enough to put 10-15 kilos for sure on that. And it's not even the biggest opener yet. We have one more remaining.
Yeah, our final lifter for this first round of bench press will be Max Saw UG from Singapore with 155 kilos.
Already opening 5 kilos above his personal best. Seems to be in great form on the bench press.
Yeah, absolutely. If he gets this, he's added 5 kilos on his PB just like that and can continue to extend it. He is making the most of his full minute setup.
It's not the fastest, but it looks really solid for an opening attempt. 5 kilos above a personal best. And I think we're well on the way into the 160 range with both of our top 2 benchers in the 66B group, which 160, looking at the nominations, was the highest nominated bench in the entire 66 kilo class.
It would be cool to see some of our B-flight lifters up there on the podium for individual lifts. Unusual, but of course not unheard of. We now have Craven Yaoyi Kiat from Singapore with 120 kilos, just a 5 kilo jump up from his opening attempt, and this will be equal to his listed bench press PB.
Slows down to a degree, but that seems like a reasonable second attempt.
Yeah, absolutely. I reckon he probably has another 5 kilos in him there for his third.
And I don't even need to look at the scoreboard to know which the nationality or at least the region of the next lifter coming on.
It is indeed Carlos Alberto Duran Sanchez from Costa Rica, where we are having this championships. Carlos has loaded 120 kilos on the bar for his second attempt, a 7.5 kilo jump up from his first.
Big power of the chest, it's 3 white lights and the crowd absolutely erupts.
Yeah, the crowd loves that. He does have 3 white lights and he's on the board. It did seem like a little bit of effort, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of jump he takes for his third. We do have another Costa Rican lifter coming out immediately after, Cesar Brenes, and he has loaded 125 kilos on the bar, a 10 kilo jump up from his opener.
Oh, and it's a big fight.
Yeah, he's pushing through it though. Oh my goodness.
I'm a bit afraid of the blue lights coming in here, and unfortunately it's 3 blue lights. The bar did dip here, we're gonna see on the replay. That is 1 dip, a second dip,
Yeah.
2 dips. To be honest, none of them quite as egregious as it looked like watching the lift live, but definitely enough to convince all 3 of the judges that there was downward motion of the bar, which of course is the reason for the red-blue lights.
Yeah, absolutely. And if there was 1 white light, perhaps if I was his coach, I would go and ask the jury to have a closer look at it. But with 3 reds or 3 whites, it can't be disputed. I do hope he can come back and get that without so much of the upward-downward movement. We now have Kinhei William Lee from Hong Kong with 130 kilos on the bar, a 5 kilo jump up from his previous attempt.
That is 3 white lights, a good lift. And as you mentioned that as a coach, why do you go to the jury when the lift is a 2-to-1, usually a 2-to-1 no lift? Why do you go to the jury?
That's purely out of interest for your lifter, trying to get as many kilos as possible. The jury can overturn a lift if there are any discrepancies in the reffing. So if there's 2-to-1 red, 2-to-1 white, you can go ask the jury to have a look at it and see if you can get it overturned. Of course, you want your lifter to do as best as possible. This is Ethan Lim from Australia attempting 130, relatively smoothly, I would say.
3 white lights, and that is a fast second attempt. I think we can see a reasonable jump to a third from there would be 5, 7.5 maybe.
Absolutely. We now have our Mexican lifter, Jorge Aguila, coming out with 135 again. He just does need to wait for that press command from the centre referee.
He can definitely do it. The strength seemed to be there, and the entire Mexican delegation is behind him. From babies to grandparents, they all have come.
Yes, there is a Mexican baby in the crowd making friends with absolutely everyone.
And it's 3 white lights this time. He's on the board.
Yeah, the strength was never in question. It was just a matter of waiting for that press command.
We'll just have to wait and see how far they dare push it for the third attempt. It's always a tough decision when you have to retake your first. Are you going to go to your planned second, planned third, or somewhere in between?
Absolutely. We now have Keita Nemoto from Japan with 142.5 kilos. This is a 12.5 kilo jump from his opener, which seems huge for bench press.
Yeah, these lower body weights, a 12.5 kilo jump in bench press is pretty significant.
We will have to see if it is within his capabilities. His bench press PB is listed at 145, so it's not an unknown weight for Keita, but we'll see if he's got it in him today.
And it seems like he definitely has, unfortunately, 2 yellow lights from the side referees. That would probably indicate lifting of the glutes or the feet. And we'll see the replay from the side here.
Yeah, yellow for both, for all lifts. It can be any number of infractions.
And that's unfortunate. The glutes came off the bench as the bar was going down. So basically just got too much leg drive into it, even from the start, and really had no chance.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. We tend to see glute lifts on the way up, but either way, it is a no lift, unfortunately. We now have David Thomas from Great Britain with 157.5 kilos on the bar, just a 7.5 kilo jump up from his opener, and David will be our second to last lifter in the second attempts before we go into third.
And it is quite a bit harder than the opening attempt. It's a 2-to-1 with a yellow from the side, which again makes me worried about the glutes.
We will be seeing from the opposite side here on the live stream.
I think it might have been for his foot slipping, but of course the feet are allowed to slip as long as they don't lift.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said it lifted. I would have just said it slipped on the the carpet. The jury seemed to be discussing it, but no one is overly passionate either way. And I think it will stay as a good lift.
I agree, it should. And he's on the board with 57.5.
This here is Max Saw UG from Singapore with 160 kilos on the bar, a 5 kilo jump up from his opener.
Just the slightest hint of slowing down from his opening attempt. The opener was not the fastest, but the second seemed to move consistently with that. And I think we can see another 5 kilo jump there, which would definitely put him into a great position for a bench press medal. Of course, with the entire A group left to go.
For sure. These are the standings at the moment, but keep in mind this is just the B group who have started benching. We will have Craven Yao Yi Kiat from Singapore coming up for his third. He's just elected to take a 2.5 kilo jump up to 122.5. I've had this conversation with Amelia. Taking the 2.5 is sometimes something that coaches and lifters don't like doing because it seems minimal, but it is a good way to collect kilos, and you'd rather have 2.5 than miss out on 5, 7.5 or even 10.
Absolutely, and when it comes to that last deadlift you're pulling for position, the 2.5 kilos can really make a difference. And that seemed to be the right call. He just barely manages to get it. It's a 2-to-1 no lift though with blue lights. That will be for downward motion. Yeah. And we'll see on the replay, also will the jury.
I'm not 100% sure I would have said it was a double movement so much as a stop. The Team Singapore coach has approached the jury's table to question it. He's got his lifter's best interests at heart, but he has been turned away. So unfortunately, it is a no lift. We have Cesar Brenes from Costa Rica now with 125 kilos, retaking his second attempt here. This is 10 kilos above his PB, so if he does get that, he can go home pretty happy with himself.
And it seems to move fairly smoothly. It's 3 white lights this time, and he gets a 10 kilo PB. Not sure who's happier, him or the crowd.
Yeah, there's definitely someone in the crowd that has a very loud cheer for Cesar. We have our second Costa Rican lifter out now, Carlos Alberto Durant Sanchez. He is taking 125 kilos. And the crowd's sheer volume will help him lift this weight, I'm sure.
It's another absolute fight, but unfortunately just too heavy.
Yeah, that's all right. We've still got the air horns in celebration of the attempt nonetheless. Just the brakes came on and he couldn't quite push through it. The next lifter out will be Kinhei William Lee from Hong Kong, 135 kilos. Nice 5 kilo jump up from his second attempt here.
And that is heavy, but it is good. 3 white lights.
Yeah, he's got a really light touch point on his chest, which means he maintains that tightness for the press command.
The last 2 attempts to change the openers. Bar loaded.
Out now we have Ethan Lim from Australia, also taking 135 kilos for a spin, just a 5 kilo jump up from his second attempt.
And another great third attempt selection. We've seen quite a few of those from Team Australia today.
Yeah, they seem to be really good with playing the numbers game and not letting ego decide the lift rather than experience, should I say.
Absolutely, and it's all about knowing your lifter, knowing what they're capable of, knowing how the lifts move as the weight increases, if they are able to grind, if they are not able to grind. Have to take all of that into account.
Yeah, but that 5 kilos was perfect for William, so he can go home knowing he's done absolutely everything he can in the bench press and look forward to the deadlift. We now have Keita Nemoto from Japan, 145 kilos on the bar. He did miss his second attempt at 142.5 and has gone up 2.5 regardless.
Yeah, the second attempt moved fairly well. It was just the glutes coming off even as the bar started lowering. So this time he just needs to adjust very so slightly. This time it's a lot heavier. It's a 2-to-1 good lift with a blue light this time. We'll see the replay, as will the jury.
Yeah, the centre referee seemed to believe there was a bar dip there.
The bar definitely did stop, and the jury seems to think it was dipping down ever so slightly, so the jury has unfortunately overruled that.
Yeah, I would have to agree with them there. I didn't want to say it though, because obviously we do want our lifters achieving the best they can, but we want them achieving the best they can and following the IPF rules. We now have Jorge Aguilar from Mexico, 145 kilos. They've taken a 10 kilo jump from his second attempt, which seems pretty fair.
Oh, and unfortunately just too much
Yeah.
overreaching, trying to compensate for that miss on the first attempt, having to retake it due to a simple technical error and just overextending.
Yeah, perhaps if he took 2 5.5 kilo jumps, or 5 kilo jumps from his opening attempt, should he have had it, it might have gone a bit more in his favour. We now have David Thomas from Great Britain attempting 160 kilos. And he did have that extra 2.5 in him, and he got 3 white lights. You can't be mad at that, and I think that was a great coaching selection from Great Britain.
Yeah, the 157.5 was fairly slow, so a 2.5 kilo jump was the more sure attempt. Maybe a 5 would have been there, but it would definitely have been a stretch.
Absolutely, and you'd rather take what's there on the day. We now have our final lifter in this flight before we move on to the A flight. Max Saw UG from Singapore, 165 kilos, which is a 5 kilo jump up from his second attempt.
Again, taking the full minute.
Yeah, he's done that all 3 times. It is a bit nerve-wracking because if he doesn't get the start command for any reason, it's putting himself at a disadvantage.
Oh, and it's a big effort, but the 165 seems to be just too much. Perhaps the 2.5 kilos would have been there.
Perhaps, but hindsight is 2020.
Absolutely. I often say it's easiest to be the coach after the competition.
It's easier. It's very easy to coach from the commentating booth, and it's very easy to ref from here as well.
And as we go into the A group, we have our top 2 lifters in the B group, both finishing on 160 kilos in bench, with Saw UG ahead of Thomas on body weight. But the 160 kilo results are fairly impressive, and just looking at the openers here, they both have a chance of finishing on the podium. The highest opener in the A group being 150 kilos, the second highest 142.5, which would take some fairly large jumps to reach the 160.
That could be pretty exciting, and I wonder if these A flight lifters are aware that the B flight lifters have achieved such a wonderful feat so early in the competition.
Christian Ambriz of Mexico will be starting off the A group, 110 kilos on the bar. And a fairly comfortable opener for the Mexican.
Yeah, that was a great lift, and it was significantly below his listed PB, but he may be just looking to build confidence and get numbers on the board.
We'll see what they put in for his second attempt. And the lifters might not be aware of how the B group is doing, but the coaches certainly are. That is their job. I would expect them to be. So we'll see what happens. But of course, these A group lifters are fighting it out for the overall positions. So perhaps a bench press medal not worth it over a chance at a shot at the overall podium.
Absolutely.
Rashon Superville, 122.5 kilos, already a 5 kilo personal best for his opening attempt. Pretty comfortable there, 3 white lights.
Yeah, great opening attempt there from the Trinidad and Tobago lifter.
187.5. That's the same weight for now employee. Loaded.
Theodor Kongstad now 127.5. Put in a squat record attempt but did not come out for it, deciding to save energy.
Yeah, his second squat attempt definitely seemed to be right at the limit for Theodore, so I think not coming out for his third was a good choice there. That looked like a nice opening attempt from the Danish lifter.
Netherlands, 127.5. That's same weight for Shima Kanojira, India. Power loaded.
$127.5 on the bar for Twahir Nadir of Netherlands.
7.5 kilos below his listed PB, so maybe he is looking to extend that today. seeing how this first attempt moves, of course.
That is 3 white lights, a good lift for Twahir.
Very smooth and very quick there from the Dutch lifter.
Bar loaded.
And already on the platform we have Shivam Kanojia, also opening at 127.5, also 7.5 kilos below his personal best. Seems to be a popular choice. And that is 3 white lights.
Yeah, very quick. So I do think Shivam's PB is looking to be extended today, which would be really cool achievement for the Indian lifter on the world stage.
Bar loaded.
Austin Nikolai now 132.5, 12.5 below his personal best. So if he grabs that 12.5, maybe a couple kilos more, can put himself in a strong position going into deadlifts to take home the title. And of course he has the half a kilo chip from the record, giving him a fighting advantage.
Absolutely. He does need a total to be taking home that record. So perhaps conservative openers for bench and deadlifts are in order just to secure his total.
That would definitely make sense. Although he cannot go too conservative because he is in the fight for the overall title, so
It'll be a balance for the American coaches, but I'm sure they're up to it.
Ryuichiro Kubota 135, opening just 2.5 kilos below his personal best.
Oh dear, we do have 2 yellows there from the side referees, which would indicate the kind of infraction that you can only see from the side, perhaps heels or glute lifts. We'll see here on the replay.
Oh, and there is definitive lifting of the glutes, unfortunately, there.
Yeah, the jury isn't even looking at it that closely, so it was quite obvious, unfortunately, so he'll need to stick his butt down onto that bench for his second attempt there.
And we have 2 opening attempts remaining. First will be John Ballesteros, 142.5. These 2 would be more or less the only 2 A group lifters with a chance to reach the bench press podium. And from 142.5 it would be quite a way to climb up to 160, or in his case 162.5, as he's heavier than the other 2 currently standing in the podium places.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting for the B group lifters with their bench press. That did move very quickly though.
It did move very quickly. I think we can see a jump here to 152.5 would not be unreasonable, but then we definitely have to wait.
Bar loaded.
It's our American lifter with 150 kilos to open.
Evelio Gonzalez. If the 150 moves well, he can go and try and beat the B group.
Given how his squats moved, I think Evelio is feeling pretty confident and strong today.
And that is 3 white lights for Gonzalez, who, unlike Ballesteros, would just need to reach 160 to take the gold. And I can definitely see 2 5-kilo jumps here. Maybe even more if he's trying to gain ground going into deadlifts. And there is our results table after the opening round. In top 2 places still our B group lifters, Soyu G and Thomas, with Gonzalez currently in bench press bronze, but with 2 attempts remaining for him and Ballesteros. We're starting off the second round with 117.5 kilos on the bar for Christian Ambries.
Yeah, a 7.5 kilo jump up from his opening attempt. Still under his bench press PB, so it should not be an unfamiliar weight for Christian.
And this kind of progression would suggest he's aiming to reach the personal best, match it on the third, but of course this needs to go well for that.
I think that moved pretty well. His PB might be matched. It might be a little bit of an effort to beat it, but I have faith he can come out and give it a good crack anyway.
Yeah, I think the reasonable choice here would be to try and go match it. A 5-kilo jump onto that seems to be reasonable. 7.5 kilos I think would be a bit risky, but of course his coaches know him way better than I do.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know him at all. Rishon Superville taking a 5-kilo jump to 127.5, already broke his personal best on his opener, so anything added onto that is a big plus on the international stage.
Yeah, absolutely. That 5 kilo PB, nothing to be sniffed at, and then depending on how this moves, he can keep pushing away at those kilos.
That is 3 white lights and a very reasonable second attempt. Still room there to improve for the Trinidad and Tobago lifter.
Denmark, 135. W 2.5 kg personal best. Lars Lødig. Get ready.
Theodor Kongstad jumping to 135 for a 2.5 kilo personal best here and trying to grab as many kilos as he can.
Absolutely. He was right up there in the squat competition, electing not to come out for his third attempt. So he is looking to build that total as high as he can.
That is 3 white lights.
Yeah, a good attempt there from the Danish lifter.
Get ready. Bar loaded.
$135 on the bar for Nadir Touahir. This is to match his personal best and give him a jumping board for improvement onto the third attempt. And that is 3 white lights, a good lift.
Yeah, really good attempt selection there. I reckon he's probably got another 7.5 in him.
He definitely could. We'll see how much they load up. 140 on the bench is also a pretty big milestone. For your average gym goer, that would be the 3 regular plates, not the 25 kilo powerlifting plates.
Yeah, and if you load bumper plates, it looks more impressive.
Everything looks more impressive with bumper plates. That's what I do RDLs with them. 135 kilos on the bar for Shivam Kanojia. And that is 3 white lights. Definitely still some room to grow there.
137.5. USA, get ready. Powerlift for Kubota.
Now for Ryuichiro Kubota, 137.5. Missed the 135, I believe it was the glutes lifting.
He's elected to go up anyway, which should match his bench press PB. And of course, if lifters do fail a lift, they have the choice of staying at that same weight or moving up. So obviously his coach has faith in him for this extra 2.5 kilos.
And this time it's 3 white lights. And as you said, nothing is forbidding lifters to go up even after they miss a lift. You can ask any Mongolian at an equipped bench championships. They'll tell you and show you.
Bar loaded.
142.5 on the bar for Austin Nikolai.
Yeah, this is a 10 kilo jump up from his opening attempt, which did look very comfortable.
And just to illustrate how close these bench presses are, he's moving from 12th to 4th with this 10 kilo jump.
Of course, the lifters' body weights come into play if the lifters end up lifting the same amount. So the lighter body weight lifters are benefiting here.
And that is 3 white lights for Nikolai. There was definitely a couple kilos more there, but we'll see how greedy they might or might not get for the third attempt. He's definitely in a strong position to fight for the title.
Bar loaded.
A 150 kilos on the bar for John Ballesteros. Opting to take a 7.5 kilo jump, which would indicate he's not aiming for the 160 for his third. Again, nothing's forbidding him from taking a bigger jump from second to third than from first to second, but it's a thing that we don't see that often.
No, if there is a bigger jump, it does tend to be from the first to the second attempt, and then you reaching your top end, so a smaller jump, it does tend to be the norm there.
It does seem to slow down somewhat, but it's still fairly comfortable.
Yeah, he gets the 3 white lights, so he's got 2 bench press on the board.
Rio Gonzalez, USA, 157.5. Next out, Luciana from Mexico. Bars loaded.
Our final second attempt, 157.5 for Evelio Gonzalez, United States of America. This will bring him within 2.5 kilos of the bench press gold medal.
Yeah, so depending on how this moves, it will indicate what that bench press podium will end up, may end up looking like. I mean, we do have another round of bench press for this A flight, but once they have put in their third attempts, that's it for them. It's not like deadlifts and you can't change it multiple times.
And that is 3 white lights, and now Team USA has a choice to make. They can go for a fairly sure 160 to grab the bench gold, or they can try and risk the bench press gold for a couple more kilos on total, which might come very handy for the Gonzalez trying to fight it out for the overall title. And Ballesteros has put 160 kilos in.
The Team USA have put in 160 kilos for Gonzalez's third attempt, so that is a nice solid number, and I do think the 2.5 is definitely there for him.
122.5 on the bar for Christian Ambries.
This would be an equal PB if he gets it.
Three white lights and a fairly nice way to match your personal best on the international stage.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 bench press on the board, and I think that was 9 white lights for him as well, so he can't be too mad at that.
Get ready.
130 kilos for Rishon Superville, opting to take a 2.5 kilo jump just to add that little bit more to his personal best.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see the Trinidad and Tobago coach isn't afraid of using the 2.5 kilo jumps. I was talking about it with Amelia and I called it the magic 2.5, and it seems to be a good option for a lot of people.
Well, to be honest, just looking at the prognosis and his deadlift opener, if anything goes really wrong for one of the top 3 competitors, he might be there to capitalize.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just about your own lifting, it is about the lifters in your class as well. And I would say that 2.5 was spot on from the Trinidad and Tobago coach.
I would absolutely agree.
Theodore Costa, Denmark, 140. 5 kilo jump with that same amount to win personal best. Shiva Kanushia, get ready. Power loaded.
Theodor Kolstad of Denmark going for 140 kilos for his third attempt, and for this third attempt he is in or on. Oh, and it's an absolute grinder for the Dane. Unfortunately, a no lift.
Yeah, not today for the Danish lifter, but that's all right. He's still having a really good day and a big total.
Get ready. Power loaded.
Shivam Kanogia now 140 kilos for a 5 kilo personal best.
Yeah, the Indian lifter's second attempt, 135 kilos, did seem to move really well, so I don't think 5 kilos is too ambitious here.
And the 5 kilos was absolutely on point, I think. 3 white lights and a good lift for the Indian lifter.
Absolutely, he seems really pleased with that. Front double biceps to his coach.
Personal best. Bars loaded. Next up, Shimo Kubota, Japan.
5 attempts remaining in this final round of the 66 kilo junior bench presses. Nadir Twahir at 142.5. This will be a big personal best for him. As you said, another 7.5 kilo jump as you predicted.
Yeah, his second looked pretty comfortable, so we'll see whether he's got this in him.
And it wasn't as much of a grinder as I expected, to be honest. That was a very clean third attempt.
Yeah, absolutely. There didn't seem to be too much difference between his first, second, and third attempts. Like, there wasn't too much of a slowdown there with his third. I reckon he probably had another couple of kilos, but it was a good option from the coaching staff just to keep it with something that they knew he could get.
Ryuichiro Kubota now of Japan, 145 kilos, 7.5 kilo jump from his second attempt, which was a 2.5 kilo jump from a miss on the first one. And he needs these 7.5 kilos to stay close to the American pair on the top in the fight for the overall title.
Oh, it is slow.
I thought he had it there for a second. Just ran out of steam.
I did allow myself to get hopeful there for a bit. Unfortunately, not to be for our lifter friend there.
Well, that's going to see the Americans run away ever so slightly from him, and Ballesteros and the chasing pack close up to the Japanese lifter. And we have 3 bench press attempts remaining. First of those will be Nikolai Austin, USA, 5 kilos. $147.5, 5 kilo jump. This will bring him into lead on prognosis. And that is right on the limit.
Yeah, perfect selection there by the US coaching team, and Austin seems very pleased with that indeed.
Now for our 2 podium deciding bench presses. First of those will be Evelio Gonzalez, 160 kilos. He will overtake both of the B group lifters who finished at 160 on body weight. And there he comes, 2.5 kilos, which will be ever so important in the overall title fight, of course. That is a great looking third attempt. It's a 2-to-1 though, with a yellow from the side.
Yeah, I do wonder what that infraction is for. We will see the opposite side here on the replay.
I think the glutes stayed in contact might have been for the right foot.
Yeah.
Being slightly weirdly positioned there. But I think it will stand, which means he takes the bench press gold medal. We still have 2 B group lifters on the podium, but one of them can be pushed off if John Ballesteros is successful on this very final bench press of the day. 160 kilos, this is for bench press bronze. And it is an absolute fight for the Canadian. 3 white lights and he's on the bench press podium, which means we have our top 4 in the bench press at the same weight, separated by less than a kilo of body weight.
That is absolutely insane from the 66 kilo juniors, but it is cool to have B flight lifter Max from Singapore, I believe, up there on the bench press podium.
That is absolutely right. In bench press gold, Gonzalez at 160. In bench press silver from the B group, Max Soyuji at 160. In third, Ballesteros at 160. And in fourth, Thomas at 160. We'll be back in 9 minutes time. We'll see you then.
Good evening and welcome back to our 66 juniors class here at the World Junior and Sub-Junior Powerlifting Champs in San Jose, Costa Rica. We have two flights here of junior 66 kilo lifters. This is what our subtotal is looking like currently. In third place we have John Basteros from Canada with 397.5, and in second and first place we have the two lifters from the United States with 405.5 and 415 kilos respectively. We will be starting now with the B flight lifters for the deadlifts, the B flight of course being the lifters with the lower nominated totals, but that was not to mean too much in the bench session we just had. Starting here with Craven now from Singapore, 205 kilos on the bar.
Comfortable looking opener there for Craven.
Yeah, absolutely, and just like the two previous lifts, you do want your openers to be something that you can do pretty comfortably to get numbers on the board and to build that confidence up.
Absolutely, and especially if you're going sumo, as a lot of these lighter lifters are, it can happen really quickly that you lose balance, you just rock back and forth slightly on top, and it can mean a no lift, so you want something that you can repeat easily.
Absolutely, and hold it steady at the top there for that centre referee to give you a nice solid down command. Here we have David Thomas for 225, and that was smooth with 3 white lights. He's on the board.
Thomas was just off the bench podium, missed it by less than 100 grams, I think.
Our next lifter out will be Cesar Brenes with 225 kilos. Hometown hero a little bit here with the entire Costa Rican crowd cheering him on. A little bit shaky there for an opener, but he does manage to lock it out and get 3 white lights. It'll be interesting to see what kind of attempts he will make for his second and third.
Singapore, Ethan Lim, get ready. Followed it.
Bars loaded now for Max Saw UG from Singapore with 225 kilos on the board. I believe Max was one of our 4 lifters who did hit 160 kilos in the bench press. And from the B flight, did that put him on the podium?
Yeah, he's walking away with a silver medal in the bench press for his troubles, or rather his successes. And that is 3 white lights, a good lift.
Yeah, he's solidified a total there.
Each and every lifter now with a successful deadlift on the board gets a total and is classified in the competition.
Absolutely. You need to make at least one of all 3 lifts to make the total and continue. Of course, if you do bomb out, you can continue to lift, however, your score will not be counted. We have Ethan Lim now from Australia with 225 kilos on the bar. Quite a few of these 66 juniors in this B flight here have elected to open with 225. 3 whites, and it's a good lift, and I believe he was our first conventional lifter of the flight.
It does seem he was, and yeah, 225 seems to be a popular opening weight. And it's a simple weight to load for the spotters, just 4 red lights and the collars.
Maybe everyone should open on 225.
maybe everyone should open with just red plates.
Perfect. Sounds good. We now have Kinhei William Lee with 230 kilos on the bar, just slightly more than those reds.
Three white lights.
3 white lights and a good lift.
I think he may have been one of those lifters you were talking about with just that speed wobble at the top and losing a bit of balance. We're now loading 235 for Keita Nimoto from Japan. It did seem like a little bit of effort, but I mean, with that weight, how could it not be? He does get the 3 white lights, and he did use almost the whole minute to set up again, which I believe he did for his bench press and his squat as well.
Well, you get the whole minute. You are absolutely entitled to use the whole minute. But of course, in the bench press and the squat, it can be a bit more troubling. In the deadlift, you cannot get in trouble for not getting a start command because there is no start command.
Absolutely. In the deadlift, there is only the down command, so you just need to start your lift within that minute. And this is Jorge Aguila from Mexico, 240 kilos. Another conventional lifter, and it was pretty solid. He's got 3 white lights and he's on the board. We're waiting now for Carlos Alberto Duran Sanchez, 250 kilos. He is another local, and as you may be able to hear, the air horn is going off again. The Costa Rican locals are showing off up to support Carlos. Anyone would think this is a third deadlift.
Absolutely, the energy in the room seems to be it moved a bit slowly towards the lockout, but it's 3 white lights.
Yeah, a little bit slowly, but he moved through the sticking point, managed to lock it out, much to the joy of the spectators. And I can safely say now that this flight of 66 kilo juniors are all on the board. And I cannot curse anyone by saying it slightly too soon. We'll be going into the second attempts now with this flight, starting off with Craven Yao Yi Kiat from Singapore with 215 kilos. It's a nice 10 kilo jump up from his opener, which did look very comfortable. Oh, it's a bit slow off the floor, but he was really patient with it and rewarded for his troubles with 3 white lights.
Yeah, patience is absolutely a virtue you need when doing sumo deadlifts. They can often be slow off the floor, but then speed up as you go towards the top, and you get rewarded with a good lift if you can keep the position and just keep pushing your feet into the floor and pulling up at the same time.
Absolutely. We have another Costa Rican lifter coming out now, Cesar Brenes, with 230 kilos on the bar. It must be pretty special for these Costa Rican lifters to have so much support behind them for these massive lifts. This is 5 kilos above Cesar's current PB. Yeah, I was a little bit concerned that he just jumped that down command. He didn't stick the lockout long enough for the centre ref to put his hand down. Would you have made that same call?
I would have to agree here that it wasn't too convincing.
No, it wasn't. That lockout needs a little bit more integrity to it for that centre referee to be convinced to put his hand down. We now have Max Soyuji from Singapore, 235 kilos. This is 5 kilos above his current personal best and a 10 kilo jump up from his first attempt. Again, a bit of a slow opener, but 3 whites.
And the second one didn't seem to slow down that much. See again, really slow off the floor, but then when he gets going, it's reasonable.
We now have David Thomas from the UK with 240 kilos on the bar. The coach has requested that the bar be cleaned. Of course, that is mandatory between each third attempt, but we are just currently in our seconds, which means the coach can request it from the spotters or the chief referee.
That is a 2-to-1 good lift.
Yeah, the side referee on the side that, on the left side, I should say, has given him a red for lockout. So that's the side that we're seeing now. I would say that it was convincingly enough locked out. I wouldn't want to have it any more forward, particularly his shoulders.
I think it will stand. The jury seem to be happy with it, but he's going to want to be careful on the third attempt.
Absolutely. When things get heavier and your shoulders start rolling forward, the deadlifts look less and less convincing. We now have Kinhei William Lee from Hong Kong with 245 kilos on the bar. This is a big 15 kilo jump up from his opener.
That is 3 white lights and a pretty solid second attempt.
Yeah, it did look good. The 15 kilo jump seemed to suit him quite well. I'm not sure if he does have another 15 in him, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of jump he takes for his third. We now have 247.5 kilos loaded on the bar for Keita Nemoto from Japan. This is a 12.5 kilo jump up from his opener. Keita, of course, being our lifter who uses a lot of the minute, but as Razi said before, he is completely entitled to use that time. I do love watching a deadlift ritual though.
Absolutely. I used to have my own when I was powerlifting. And it's 3 white lights. Let's look again at the replay.
Get ready.
maybe it was just the angle, but I was slightly unsure about the lockout.
Yeah, I would have said the same where we are here, but it looks better on the live stream.
Oh yeah, absolutely. From this angle, it looks way better.
Now we have Jorge Aguila from Mexico with the same weight, 247.5 on the bar. This is just a 7.5 kilo jump up from his opener and 2.5 kilos under his listed PB, which looks to be being extended on his third because that was pretty solid for a second.
Oh, absolutely. And he can add, we'll see how much he can add, but definitely some room left to grow there.
Next up, Murat Sanchez, Costa Rica. Bars loaded.
Our next lifter out will be Ethan Lim from Australia with a nice round 250 kilos on the bar. This is 7.5 kilos above his current PB and a 25 kilo jump from his opener, which is a big jump from Team Australia, but perhaps they were just looking to boost his confidence and get numbers on the board before starting to build that total up. I have trusted Team Australia's selections so far, and I think I will continue to.
Yeah, 3 white lights, a very reasonable second attempt, and I can definitely see another 10-15 kilos maybe there.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a little bit alarming seeing 25 kilo jumps on the scoreboard, but when they move like that, you can completely see the justification for them. Our next lifter out is another Costa Rican lifter, Carlos Alberto Duran Sanchez, with 265 kilos on the bar, and you can hear chants of Carlos coming from the audience. This will be a whole 15 kilo PB for Carlos should he get it.
But to be honest, the 250 was not super easy.
No, I am wondering if the adrenaline from the crowd will help.
And it's an absolute battle. Wow!
Yeah, he continues to pull through. Oh my goodness. He gets it down command, but was it locked out?
It's 3 white lights. What a performance on home soil from Sanchez.
Yeah, absolutely. The crowd goes wild, and we still have third deadlifts yet to go. So I'm wondering what he has left in the tank to pull from that.
Well, after the 250, the 265, I wouldn't have bet a cent on him having the 265, but...
No, absolutely not. But hey, we're not the ones in the refs chair, so we don't get to make those the calls, and we're not in the coaching chairs either. Not that the coaches are in chairs, they are running around out there. Coming into thirds now, we are going to start with our Singaporean lifter, Craven. He will be pulling 220 kilos, a nice 5 kilo jump up from his second attempt. Oh, not quite there today, unfortunately.
It's a big effort. It was a big ask. And he gave it a good go.
Absolutely, and I'm sure he can still be proud of his efforts today. We do have one of our Costa Rican lifters coming out now, Cesar Brenes, with 235 kilos. It is a 5 kilo jump up from his second attempt, which he did miss. So it'll be interesting to see if the adrenaline from the crowd can help him pull this.
Well, after what happened with Duran Sanchez, I am very hopeful.
Yeah, anything is possible with this crowd.
The bar is loaded. Barrista, Cesar Brenes, Costa Rica.
There goes that air horn again.
And it's unfortunately not there today. Gives the bar a good tug, but too heavy, even with the home crowd support.
Yeah, I wonder if that extra 5 kilos did indeed glue that bar to the floor. Our next lifter out will be Max So Yu from Singapore with 240 kilos. It is a nice 5 kilo jump up from his second attempt.
4 more attempts to change the operators of this
We're just having the bar cleaned, of course, because it is third attempt, so we want to give these lifters the best opportunity they can to pull these weights. So he's very patient to lock out and gets the down command.
3 white lights.
And that is 3 white lights.
I think Max can be very, very pleased with his day, and he'll be very, very pleased after the medal presentation later on as well.
For once again, the personal best. Jorge Aguilar, Mexico, get ready.
The bar is now being set for David Thomas at 250 kilograms, which will be a 10 kilo PB if he manages to pull this off, which of course we hope he does.
Yeah, the 240 was fairly reasonable for a second attempt, so the 250 seems to be in reach for him today, of course with perfect third attempt execution.
Oh, unfortunately, I don't think he got the down command there, so it will be a no lift. The strength was definitely there, he just needed to hold it at the top for a fraction longer.
Yeah, we'll see on the replay. Take a look at his hands, and yeah, we can see the right hand just starts to open at the top, and he cannot hold on to the bar long enough to receive the down command.
Which is a shame, but that's something he can work on for his next competition. Our next lifter is Kinhei William Lee from Hong Kong, 252.5 kilos on the bar. Well, very patient with that, but it does seem to be caught on his knees. Oh, not quite there today.
We have seen it time and time again at these last deadlifts. The athletes give it their absolute everything. The knees start to lock out just a smidge too soon, and they just lose the balance backwards.
Yeah, that is one of the issues with pulling sumo, but it does suit some people's leverages slightly better. We now have Jorge Aguilar from Mexico with 252.5 kilos on the bar. Just a nice 5 kilo jump up from his second attempt there.
This will be a small personal best. Finish strong on the international stage.
Oh, his hand started to lose grip there, and he did bring the bar back down before the down command. But he has had a good day, and he's showing grace as well with thanking the referees.
The match personal best in the making for Japan.
Bar's been loaded now for Keita Nimoto of Japan, 255 kilos for his third attempt, 7.5 up from his second, and this will be a matched deadlift PB should he get it.
There is 3 white lights and a good lift for Nemoto.
Two more attempts in the B group. Ethan Reed, Australia, and Carlos Andres, Costa Rica.
Bar is now being loaded for Ethan Lim of Australia, 260 kilos. A nice 10 kilo jump up from his second attempt. I think you predicted a nice 10 kilo jump for him, so we'll be interested to see if he does have it in him.
It seemed fairly reasonable, and the Australian coaches, as we have stated previously, have been great at judging the third attempt jumps to get right up to that ceiling. And that seemed very well selected, right on point, 3 white lights.
Yeah, there was obviously a little bit of a struggle there because it is a top end deadlift. I think if another 2.5 kilos on the bar, it might not have moved as well as it did.
Well, speaking of another 2.5 kilos, this next man has added 10 to an absolute RP11 grinder for a second attempt. Even the first attempt was heavy, but he's going 10 kilos further up, and I'm not counting it out.
He has the support of the crowd, and of course we are talking about Carlos Alberto Duran Sanchez from Costa Rica. 275 kilos, and here he comes.
He is going to the absolute limit of what the human body is capable of. I'm not sure you can even hear us on the live stream because of the crowd. The atmosphere is crazy, and there he goes. And the 10 kilos proved to be just too much.
Yeah, not too many surprises there. I did have faith that the crowd could have possibly brought it out in him, but he seems to have provided the entertainment and the love nonetheless.
If someone just showed me his opening attempt, I never would have said he was gonna get 255. He got 265, went for 275. Crazy show he has given us, and we are off to the A group. And this is going to be the real decider here in the 66 juniors.
Yeah, I almost forgot we were just in the B flight there with how much hype those deadlifts brought.
Absolutely, but we have 27 more attempts to go. First of which will be Theodor Kongstad of Denmark, 225 for a nice and easy opening attempt, 3 white lights.
Get ready. Followed it.
235 on the bar for John Ballesteros. Definitely one of the athletes looking to snatch up a podium place should anything go wrong for the top three.
He's another lifter electing to hold on to the smooth part of the bar rather than the knurling. We saw that earlier with the sub-juniors.
That is a 2-to-1 good lift, and yeah, you can see that sometimes. Of course, brings the hands closer together so they can be more straight down and maybe avoid rubbing too much on the thighs when doing the sumo.
Yeah. But I would imagine that it also brings the shoulders forward a little bit and makes it a bit harder to lock out.
It really depends on each lifter's physiology. I tried that, didn't work for me.
No.
Nadir Touahir now, 240 kilos for the Dutchman.
Nadir's had a great day so far. All of his attempt selections have been absolutely on point. I mean, his squats ranged across a whole 40 kilos, I believe.
And the opening deadlift is very comfortable.
Yeah, that's looking really nice there.
Please get ready. Forward it.
245 on the bar. Now for one of the contenders for the title, Evelio Gonzalez of the USA. This will put him to a 660 kilo total. That is super fast.
Very fast. It was fast off the floor and it was fast to lock out. So it'll be interesting to see if that speed slows down as he puts more weight on the bar. I think he's got massive room for growth there with his deadlifts.
And he's gonna need it. I'm sure his teammate will push him to the very last bit.
Absolutely.
And there we have Christian Ambris, 245 kilos on the bar for the Mexican. And that is 3 white lights, a good lift.
Yeah, absolutely. He's on the board.
Get ready. Followed it.
Shivam Kanogia up next at 247.5.
I think Shivam has also had a pretty good day. He's had pretty solid attempt selections and seems to have plenty more gas in the tank as well.
It really helps to come into deadlifts on a high. Really gets you that extra energy boost that you need to get every last kilo you can out of yourself.
And just like that, he has 3 white lights and he is on the board. I think with room to grow there for deadlifts as well.
An extensive amount of baby powder. If you look here at the replay, he almost makes a smoke screen there.
Of course, baby powder's on to help the lifters slide the bar up their legs without gripping it. But is there such thing as too much baby powder?
The problem with the baby powder is it works the opposite way as the chalk. So if there's so much baby powder that it gets on the bar, it gets on your hands, it can be very much counterproductive. 260 kilos now for Austin Nikolai. This will put him to a 665.5, 5 kilos ahead of his teammate.
Absolutely, and he does have that chip that puts him at an advantage.
And that is just as fast as the 245 of Gonzalez, so this battle is going to be going on for at least another round, but from the looks of it, looks like it's going to be going on for another 2 rounds.
Yeah. I am looking forward to this second and third round of deadlifts. I can imagine the crowd is going to get super into it as well.
Absolutely, it's going to be a great final decider. 270 kilos on the bar for Rishon Superville. Not that close to the overall podium fight, but definitely in with a shot for a deadlift medal for Trinidad and Tobago. And that is very comfortable. 3 white lights, a good lift.
Yeah, it was super quick there.
Our final opener for Ryuichiro Kubota, 270 kilos. Our final opener. With this, everyone will have secured a total. But of course, let's not speak too soon. And that is 3 white lights. Everybody has an opener. We will not be getting any more curses going on today.
Not today, but we do have a few days left of the championships.
Quite a few. Plenty of room for curses there. But let's hope there aren't any.
No. And if there are curses, let them be good ones. White lights for everybody.
Absolutely. Going into round 2 of the deadlifts, we have Superville leading from Kubota and Duran Sanchez still from the B group. But of course subject to change, and in the total standings the Americans well ahead of everyone else. The chasing pack currently led by Kubota, Ballesteros 10 kilos behind, and Superville another 12.5 behind that. We'll see what happens in round 2 to set up the final round. I think it's going to be a decider between the Americans and perhaps a scrap between Superville, Ballesteros and Kubota. We're going to have to wait and see. It's definitely going to be exciting. .240 for Theodore Kongstad already with the 3 white lights. And there comes already the first of our contenders for the bottom spot on the podium. John Ballesteros jumping 10 kilos to 245 for a 642.5 total, which will put him neck and neck with Kubota. Of course, Kubota yet to lift in round 2. That is very slow off the floor, but he's a very patient man, and he gets the 3 white lights.
He does indeed. So that's 2 deadlifts on the board there for our Canadian lifter.
.252.5 on the bar for Nadir Touahir.
Yeah, 12.5 kilo jump up from his first attempt there, which did look very comfortable.
Nadir Touahir, 252.5 on the bar. Had a solid day so far. That is a solid looking second attempt.
Yeah, absolutely. The Dutch coaching team seems to be right on the money there with their attempts. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what our Dutch lifter pulls on his third.
257.5 will be going on the bar next for Christian Ambries. And I see some Mexicans have brought a flag. We'll see if it comes out now already, or maybe they're waiting for the third deadlift.
Oh, and we have more musical instruments in the crowd. A little Mexican flag whistle is going off.
About to be a whole orchestra here by the end of the championship.
Absolutely. If each country brings one instrument, I'm sure it would be very fun in here.
And that is 3 white lights for Ambries.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his third attempt is going to be, because it did seem to come to a dead stop just above his knees. It didn't drop back down, but I don't know, maybe a 2.5?
We'll see. Maybe the energy of the crowd can give him an extra couple kilos. We've seen that today with attempts that seemed impossible.
Of course, and in powerlifting, nothing's impossible.
Absolutely. 262.5 on the bar for Shivam Kanojia. 15 kilo jump. Ever closer to his personal best of 273. And that is 3 white lights, a good lift.
265 for Emilio Gonzalez. This was to go from second to first position of the class in the deadlift event. Austin Nikolai, get ready.
4 deadlifts remaining, which will set up the storyline of the third round. First of which will be Evelio Gonzalez jumping to 265, a 20 kilo jump to get back into overall first ahead of his teammate Nikolai. And this is already a deadlift personal best for Gonzalez, but judging from the 245, this should be well within his reach. And it definitely is. 3 white lights, he gets to 680 kilo total.
Yeah, that looked no different to his first, even with the additional 20 kilos.
Now Austin Nikolai, also USA, 285.
But his teammate will be one-upping him here. A 25 kilo jump for Austin Nikolai to 285 kilos. Go to 690.5 on total.
Bar suited for Austin Nikolai.
And that is a comfortable second attempt for Austin.
Yeah, it is. That
Jump.
extra 25 didn't make much of a difference.
285.
And this is gonna go to the last round, as we were all hoping.
Provisional silver in the deadlift, provisional bronze in the class. Bar is loaded.
Now 285 kilos on the bar for Ryuichiro Kubota. With this, he will pull quite a way ahead of the chasing pack. Match the number that Ballesteros has put in for a third attempt. And that is a wrench in the works of the Japanese team. Kubota unsuccessful on 285, just cannot hold on to the bar.
Yeah, he was looking down at his thumbs in disappointment and disbelief, but that does tend to happen when you pull hook grip. There is a lot of pressure on your thumbs.
Well, and that is exactly what we were saying. One mistake from Kubota and Ballesteros is right up there on his tail, and so will be this next lifter, Rishon Superville, taking a 20 kilo jump to 290 kilos. Not the easiest towards lockout, has to work for it, but it's 3 white lights, and there still might be 10-15 kilos there if he can execute the lift really well.
And with that, we are into the third round of deadlifts here for the 66 kilo juniors and the A flight. I hope the excitement from the B flight carries on and the hype from the crowd adds an extra few kilos for each of these lifters.
First lifter out will be Theodore Kongstad from Denmark to 47.5, 7.5 kg jump.
Yeah, just looking at the results going into round 3, we have the Americans separated by 10.5 kilos, and then Ballesteros, Kubota and Superville separated by 2.5 kilos in the fight for the bronze medal. Of course, with Kubota missing the second deadlift on grip, things are gonna get really exciting in this third round. We were starting off with Theodor Kongstad, 247.5 on the bar. And he just about gets it. 3 white lights, a good lift for Kongstad. And a strong finish to the competition.
And a big smile and a big thumbs up. He's obviously happy with his performance.
Get ready. It's a 10 kilo jump from John Ballesteros from Canada. That will be a new personal best. That's provisional bronze in the class. The bar is loaded.
255 kilos for the first of the podium contenders, trying to stake his claim onto the overall bronze medal. John Ballesteros of Canada, 255 kilos on the bar. This is going to be a 10 kilo personal best for him. Put him to a 652.5 kilo total, which Kubota and Superville will try to beat.
John with lots of support from the crowd. Patient off the floor and rewarded for his hard work.
That is a great reward for his patience. He is into provisional bronze medal position.
Mexico 260. Get ready. 2.5 kilo jump for Christian Ambris. This is to go from 8 to 7s, both will be definitely in the class.
260 kilos on the bar for Christian Ambris.
Lots of Mexican support in this crowd for Christian.
And it's an absolute fight. He gets the 3 white lights. It's a good lift at 260 kilos. and right about a perfect third attempt there to finish off the competition strong.
Kanogia, get ready. It's 1.5 kilo jump for Nadir. Will be a new personal best of 1.5.
Yes, even taking 2.5 kilos on a deadlift can be the right decision. That was an absolute fight, but he got it. So I'd say perfect selection there from the Mexican coaching team.
Absolutely. 265 kilos are loaded on the bar for Nadir Touahir of Netherlands. This is for a strong finish to the competition. Just beat his personal best deadlift by half a kilo and match his total personal best. And there it is. 3 white lights for Touahir. That is a strong, strong performance today.
Absolutely. It seemed to be spot on the money there from our Dutch lifter.
Deadlift events from 8 in total. Emilio Gonzalez, get ready.
$277.5 on the bar for Shivam Kanogia. This is for a provisional deadlift bronze medal, of course with 4 lifters yet to lift, but they are all fighting for positions, and any miss among them can mean that Shivam will walk home with a deadlift medal.
This is a 15 kilo jump up from his second attempt, which was really good. He's giving an extra little bit of love to the bar. Hopefully that helps him get it up.
Oh, and that is quite a fight, but just cannot get those shoulders back. That is unfortunate for Shivam. It was so close, but yet so far.
Yeah, a couple of inches on those shoulders and maybe half a second more at that lockout to get the down command. I could see the centre ref thinking about putting his hand down. So close there for our Indian lifter. A little bit of a disappointment, but I'm sure he can still be happy with his day.
And now for the first of the deciding deadlifts. This is for a world junior total record. Evelio Gonzalez of the United States of America, 285 kilos. Another 20 kilo jump to his third deadlift for a 700 kilo total. This will add 7.5 kilos to the current world junior total record.
Yeah, his first 20 kilo jump was spot on, so I'm sure that this is the right selection too.
For 700.
This is to try and stake his claim for the title of the 66 kilo world junior champion and to break the total record.
There is silence in the room, and now
That is unfortunate. The knees just locked too soon, I believe. The knees locked too soon, and you would have to have ungodly amounts of back and glute strength there to save that. Unfortunately, just gets slightly out of position. You can see the knee popping in, and that means that the title is decided. But what is not decided yet is the bronze medal position. Currently in bronze sits Ballesteros of Canada with 652.5 kilos. Yuichiro Kubota of Japan will try and retake 285. It slipped out of his hands on the previous attempt. This is to jump into bronze with 657.5.
Yeah, I'm hoping he can hold on to it and get it up to that lockout. I don't think it was a strength thing at all. He has locked in his hook grip, so let's see if it works for him.
And unfortunately cannot even break the ground there. And we have 2 attempts remaining. And we're gonna have Superville gunning for the bronze medal. But before that, we have Austin Nikolai, your 66 kilo junior world champion, going for 297.5 kilos on the deadlift for a new world junior total record to add a cherry on top of the squat record. Add a total record to that and the title, and you have pretty much the perfect day if you are Austin Nikolai.
Absolutely, I don't think he can be mad either way, but it will be cool to see this record go up.
And the bar is loaded for Austin Nikolai, your junior 66 kilo world champion. This is for a total record. $703 kilos will be his total if he can get it. And it's going, and it's up almost effortlessly. What was that? Was that a third deadlift?
I don't think that was a third deadlift, but he has the record. He has 3 white lights. And
My
what
Lord.
a dream day.
Give the man a 4th attempt.
Absolutely.
Give the man a 4th attempt.
We'll see you all in the warm-up room for goodness knows what he could pull after that.
And that is a new total junior world record. Now for a man who has decided weirdly not to go for a podium position, but for a deadlift gold. Rishon Superville, 300 kilos on the bar. This is for the deadlift gold in the 66. Is the very final lift of the day. And his coach is hyping up the crowd. He's absolutely ready. 300 kilos, a milestone not many lifters hit.
Just focusing himself.
And there it goes. Can he lock it up? Just get stuck at the knees. And that means, I hate to say it, but as I predicted, a mistake from Kubota costing him the podium spot. He was looking well to fight it out with the Americans, but ultimately he ends up in 4th as Ballesteros takes the bronze medal with Gonzalez in 2nd, and Nikolai, your 66 kilo world champion in the deadlifts. Nikolai also takes the gold medal with Superville in 2nd. And Kubota in 3rd. Thank you for being with us here today. Thank you, Briar, for accompanying me on this exciting journey through the 66 kilo junior category.
Absolutely, it has been an absolute blast, and I can't wait to see what happens for the rest of the championships.
Absolutely. Stay on the live stream for the podium ceremony, and you'll hear from us again tomorrow.
Austin Nikolai. Thank you. Moving on now to the bench press event. One of the minutes of the bench press event with the best index of 160 from Canada, John Ballesteros. The silver medalist at the exact same best effect that is lighter on body weight from Singapore, Max Soyuji. The lightest of the three, getting the gold medal from the USA, Emilio Gonzalez. Podium full of 160. Thank you guys. We'll now move on to the deadlift events. Bronze medalist with the best attempt of 270 from Japan, Yoshiro Kubota. Silver medalist with the best attempt of 290 from Trinidad, Rashawn Superville. And deadlift gold goes to the USA with 297.5, Austin Nikolai. Thank you. To the final placings we go. Bronze medalist in the class with a total of 652.5 kilos from Canada, John Ballesteros. Vice champion, silver medalist with a total of 680 from the USA, Emilio Gonzalez. And the 2025 IPF Junior World Champion of the 66s with a total of 703 new world junior total record from the USA, Austin Nikolai. Now everyone please stand up for the national anthem of the USA. What a class that was. Once again, thanks to all the athletes and to the referees, the spotters, the loaders, the media team. It was an awesome day of the championship. We'll be back tomorrow at 9